Hello, my name is Axel Scherer. I will give you a quick introduction into virtual sequences and sequences. Let's look back at interface UVC sequences. As you remember, those are tied to a particular protocol, right? Whatever it is, standard protocol like AXI or your custom protocol. A big difference to a virtual sequencer is that they're actually not protocol specific, right? They don't deal with any sequence items. They don't know what protocol you run, right? So they abstract in that sense. Another important aspect is that those sequences are meant to control lower level sequencers. So they coordinate traffic amongst lower level sequencers. Most often, those are actually interface UVC sequencers. So if you remember, in an interface UVC, we're taking a sequence, executing them on a sequencer, and handing down protocol-specific sequence items into a driver. The driver then pushes it into the device. So that's all good. So we can deal with a particular protocol in an interface UVC. But what are we doing in a real test bench, right? Here we have a simple abstract test bench with interface A and B. We have the two associated interface UVCs. How are we going to tell these guys what they should do, right? That's the job of the virtual sequencer. It executes a bunch of virtual sequences to coordinate the traffic between different interfaces. Let's look at some code for this. First, we look at the virtual sequencer per se. The device we have here has both UART and APB interfaces. So you can see it has the same class as an interface UVC sequencer. Right? There's no difference here, no special plumbing for this virtual sequencer. The only difference you can see here is that it doesn't have a sequence item parameter put in, right? So it's basically protocol agnostic. This particular sequencer is controlling an APB sequencer and a UART sequencer, so those two UVCs. But other than that, there's really nothing in the sequencer. Just like an interface UVC sequencer, everything is built into the library, and we are just getting everything for free, basically, by just creating this particular sequencer. So let's look at some virtual sequences. Here we have a particular sequence. It's also a regular sequence, right, that is called concurrent U to A and A to U. So we want to basically have traffic from the UART to ABB and from ABB to UART at the same time. That's the job of this particular sequence. You can have, again, a bunch of fields and constraints to control the execution order, just like with regular sequences. The only difference is we're dealing at a higher level of abstraction and the coordination amongst different interfaces. And similar to a regular sequence, the virtual task body is basically executing the order here. The first thing we're doing is setting up the device. We are actually configuring the block, right? And this is done with a configuration sequence on the ABB bus. So before we send any traffic, we need to have programmed the device registers accordingly. And that's the job of the virtual sequencer. It says, hey, configure first before you do traffic. So at the high level, it does a meaningful order. Once this is completed, it starts the traffic. So there's parallel execution, right? Concurrent operations are going to occur, right? So it hands down basically what to do at the ABB sequencer and what to do at the UART sequencer. And once it sends out all these transactions on the sequencers, it then has another wrap-up sequence in this case, right, on the ABB bus. So that's basically it. A virtual sequencer controls and coordinates the traffic amongst lower level sequencers, particularly in interface UVCs. You can find more videos like this on this YouTube channel or at support.cadence.com at the video library for the Incisive Simulator. Have a great day, thank you very much, and talk to you soon.